A very good evening to you from wherever you're watching us from. This is Lookuptv and we're just in time for Lookup News on this 24th, the day of May 2023. Now, in a bid to convince the masses to adopt the housing levy, housing PS Charles Hinga might have thrown himself from the frying pan to the fire. A press briefing meant to expound the proposals seems to have left Kenyans with more questions than answers. It is the government's top agenda to pass the housing levy bill, but today's explanation might not have done justice when it comes to convincing Kenyans to adopt a bill that has been subject of debate. Talking of money, the economy is struggling. Azimio Coalition have given yet another ultimatum to lower the cost of living, as the talks now hang in the balance with fresh demands from Raila Odinga and his team, including the resignation of the Registrar of Political Parties and Ruto. Welcome to the program tonight. My name is Keitany and our sign language interpreter is Josephine Oko. First of all, let's have a look at the stories making headlines tonight.
You will either get an affordable unit, which is highly subsidized, or after 7 years, if you don't want it, we give you back your money plus your return.
Tonight on Lookup News, government defends the controversial housing project, saying it will achieve affordable housing and create jobs. Also tonight, looming demonstrations. Azimio Coalition gives the government an ultimatum of 7 days to meet their demands. And former Mungiki Leader Manhunt submits himself before authorities at Nakuru law courts.
Welcome to this broadcast. Remember, you can watch this bulletin live across all our social media platforms. Now, the national government insists that the controversial housing levy, which will require every employed Kenyan to contribute 3% of their salary, will go ahead as proposed, despite strong resistance from a section of Kenyans. Speaking at State of Nairobi, the Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Housing, Charles Hinga, vehemently defended the housing plan, saying it will provide the much-needed decent and affordable housing to the majority of urban dwellers, apart from creating a sizable number of jobs. And as reporter Henry Tende now files, the PS says the levy will be capped at 3% and will leave a room for Kenyans who have not benefited from the program to get back their contributions after 7 years.
Once again, President William Ruto's administration has moved to defend the controversial housing levy, where employed Kenyans will be required to pay a mandatory 3% of their salary towards the affordable housing project. While addressing journalists at State House, Nairobi, Housing Principal Secretary Charles Hinga says the government will forge ahead with the project despite strong opposition from a section of Kenyans.
How can you talk about sustainability unless it is just theoretical when you have got such high income inequalities and mushrooming slums in a country? How sustainable is that? You see, today, this country, we have got over 1,400 informal settlements in this country and growing. So how do you talk about sustainability? With that 2050 figure we are talking about, where 50% of our population will be living in our urban areas, where do you think they're going to live? The do-nothing strategy, which is what a lot of people are saying, government must not get involved. How is it going to prevent this country being one big informal settlement?
PS Hinga says the housing project is a well-thought-out initiative and was adopted after intense benchmarking from countries who have had similar programs rolled out.
Our solution is not a solution that is just crazy we thought about. We went to benchmark. We went to Singapore. We went to Mexico. We went to Brazil. We went to Nigeria. We went to China, many different places. And some of them we went to benchmark so that we know how not to do it. Because some of them, they have failed. What did they do? They said, let's save together. And that is a principle that most of us understand here because you belong to a chama somewhere or a sacco somewhere. So let's save together. And they did. And they told the employer, you save this, the employee will save that.
Employed Kenyans will have 3% of their salary deducted if the Finance Bill 2023 sails through Parliament as proposed. The funds going into funding one of President William Ruto's key campaign promises in the run-up to the 2022 presidential contest. P.S. Hinga says the funds will be capped at not more than 2,500 for every Kenyan.
Veils to you or confers you a direct right. It's a direct right to you. Why? Because you will either get an affordable unit, which is highly subsidized, or after 7 years, if you don't want it, we give you back your money plus your return.
Even as the government remains firm that there is no going back on the project, strong objection has emanated from different quarters. The opposition group Azimio has unequivocally said they will oppose the finance bill. Also concerned are the Kenya Federation of Employers, who say they will be forced to lay off employees if the bill is passed as it is. This amid outcry from Kenyans over the rising cost of living.
There are a number of proposed tax measures will have significant negative impact on taxpayers.
Will the government succeed with the project? Only time will tell. Henry Tende, Lookuptv.
Indeed, the PS Charles Hinga was tasked to explain or to give Kenyans a better understanding of the proposed housing levy. Moving forward, just a day after the bipartisan talks were suspended, Azimio Coalition has given the government a 7-day ultimatum to meet the demands. As Shadia Career now reports, Raila Odinga's coalition has accused the government of ignoring their key demands during the talks. The coalition will convey a way forward on Tuesday next week after the lapse of the 7 days ultimatum to the government, and where they will announce the next course of action.
Kalonzo Musyoka Command Center in Karen, Nairobi, for an urgent meeting to deliberate on the issues surrounding the talks that has not yielded fruit since its beginning.
We had a meeting here of the Azimio La Umoja One Kenya Coalition Summit. We have deliberated on a number of pertinent issues.
The Azimio leaders accusing the Kenya Kwanza administration of ignoring all its demands during the talks.
Kenya Kwanza has no clear direction on whether the talks should proceed or not. Deliberately, they have no clear direction from Mr. William Ruto on how to proceed. 3, Kenya Kwanza sees the talks as a process of managing the political situation, calming down the political temperatures, and continue with business as usual.
The Azimio leaders accuse the government of taking part in the wrangles within the Jubilee Party as they took swipe at the registrar of political parties under Ruto.
The destabilization of the Jubilee Party is a do-or-die agenda sponsored by the highest level of Kenya Kwanza leadership, whose aim is to ensure Kenya Kwanza obtains a super majority in parliament and amends the constitution, removes presidential term limits, abolishes devolution, and removes the independence of constitutional commissions and place them as part of the presidency. The registrar of political parties, Mrs. Anne Deritu, must leave office in view of clear manifestations that she has been co-opted into partisan and illegal schemes by Kenya Kwanza to cripple instead of protecting political parties.
The Azimio leaders have issued 7 days ultimatum to the Kenya Kwanza administration to guarantee them the inclusion of all their demands in the bipartisan talks, further to which the coalition will announce its next course of action on Tuesday.
Our delegation therefore came to the decision that if the interim measures cannot be guaranteed, there would be no need to move into substantive issues. The framework agreement that set up the talks provides for a 7-day suspension of the talks in the event of a stalemate. And our delegation proceeded to invoke this provision. If at the end of the 7 days we will not be able to resume the talks will be considered to have collapsed.
The leaders also accused the government of intimidating and arresting its supporters.
And today, Gaucho, as we speak, was arrested after he made a statement at the Jubilee NDC. From yesterday, he's been in custody. As we leave here, we want to follow up to ensure he's released today. Manhunt Njenga, just because he came out to support Raila Odinga, he went all the way to Njambini. They tried to arrest him, and from yesterday, they have arrested him as we speak. He's in Nakuru today trying to get back his freedom.
The Azimio politicians will once again meet on Tuesday, where they will announce their next course of action concerning the bipartisan talks. Reporting for Lookuptv from Nairobi, my name is Shadrach Kareria.
Thank you very much, Shadrach Kareria, for that particular story. And talking about former Mungiki Leader, former Mungiki Leader Manhunt Njenga presented himself at the Nakuru Law Courts Wednesday morning following reports that the police were hunting him down. Njenga is accused of several charges, including being a member of an outlawed and illegal group and involvement in organized criminal activities.
In a startling series of events, former Mungiki leader Manhunt Njenga found himself in the midst of a courtroom confrontation as his lawyer clashed with police officers when his lawyer Ndegwa Njiru made a bold attempt to block the officers from restraining his client, resulting in a moment of drama within the courtroom.
No! No!
Earlier on, DCI officers had launched a manhunt to find the Mungiki leader, and in a statement through their Twitter account, quotes, "Detectives based in Nakuru County are looking for ex-Mungiki leader Manhunt Njenga in relation to the recovery of 2 firearms and over 90 rolls of bang found at a home linked to him. Any information on the whereabouts of the ex-Mungiki leader, who has since gone into hiding, may be volunteered through the Fichua kwa DCI anonymous hotline number." Njenga and 11 other suspects are accused of several charges, including being a member of an illegal group and involving themselves in organized criminal activities. Audrey Cherotich, Lookuptv.
Moving forward, President William Ruto said that the government will make more than 5,000 services that were initially targeted for digitalization and easy access available on eCitizen. Speaking during the ID for Africa conference in Nairobi, Ruto said that Kenya is poised to become a fully fledged digital economy and is committed to establishing a policy framework for data protection.
Going forward, we are looking at upgrading our current automated fingerprint identification system, AFIS, into an automated biometric identification system, which goes beyond the fingerprints and involves the iris and the iris, the fingerprints, as well as facial recognition.
Article 12 of our Constitution sets out the entitlement of every citizen to rights, privileges, and benefits of citizenship, and to a Kenyan passport and any document of registration or identification issued by the state to all our citizens. The state is therefore committed by implication to the full implementation of these clear constitutional provisions without any question or delay or any other excuse.
On to matters education, and Mukumu Girls High School management has called on the government to speed up the construction of the borehole to ease water scarcity problem. The school, which had closed down after the outbreak of diarrhea and bacterial infection, recently reopened, with the ministry issuing new guidelines. Innocent Tugaro with more details.
2 weeks after the reopening of Mukumu Girls High School, water scarcity remains a challenge in the school. Following a visit by officials from the Department of Water and Public Health, Mukumu Girls Principal Jen Bone has described the situation as a chronic problem, with the school relying on a limited water supply from a water distribution company, which is insufficient considering the number of students in the school.
What I want to say is that currently the school is running very well. You've seen students in class and you have seen all the corrections that we were asked to do. They have been done. The only request I will wish maybe to make to the Ministry of Water is that currently the water we have is not enough to serve our students. So I would wish that they fast track so that the borehole that was done can be put in use almost immediately.
Regional Representative Irungu Macharia has dismissed claims that 80 students were hospitalized since the school reopening. She further called upon parents to remain calm and send their children back to school.
With the 100% transition, it has posed some challenges. And those challenges are obvious because some classes are built for a capacity of about 40 of those students and learners, 40 or so. So some classes today have 60. We have some dormitories that are overcrowded because we did not develop the infrastructure as fast as the school population was expanding. As you have heard from the public health officer, there is also pressure on the sewerage system and the water supply to the schools.
Innocent Ogaro, Lookuptv.
Now, police officers in Mumias East constituency, Kakamega County, have launched a manhunt for 45-year-old man Simon Muller for allegedly locking up his two children, aged 6 and 7, on an empty stomach day and night with chains in the house. According to John Miller and Ruth Andai, the parents of the suspect, they say they were shocked of the incident as they also learned that their grandchildren had not been going to school and the father decides when they should report to school.
Kababa, na huyo mwingine? Kamama. Na huyo mwingine ako wapi?
A shroud of darkness hangs in the air in Mumias East, Kakamega County, inside a house akin to an unending prison. Two children bound by chains, enduring hunger day and night. This chilling incident has set forth a manhunt for Simon Miller, a 45-year-old man. John Miller and Ruth Andai, the parents of the suspect, expressed their shock at this heinous act and later discovered that their grandchildren have been deprived of education with their father determining when they should attend school.
Ukucha waone watoto wako kwa nyumba ya kichana yako wanafungwa nyororo kama mbwa. Nilistachapo sana. Nikatoka huko pale na ishi hapo chini. Tetemeka kidogo nikakuja paka hapa nikaankitisha mwenyewe. Wakafungua nyororo kwa miguu ya watoto kama mimi niko.
Ni ya kwamba yeye anawafunga ndani, anahakikisha mawafungia wakiwa ndani kwa hizo meza ama kwa kitanda. Lakini tena nje anafunga mlango na kifuli. Na watoto wenyewe wanasema mzee anatoka asubuhi sana mapema by around 6. Kurudi kwake saa 3 ama saa 4 usiku.
Confirming this incident, Benson Ochango, the chief of the Maraba area, blamed the neighbors for failing to report the matter to relevant authorities. Ochango further stated that they are searching for the suspect who is at large after fleeing the scene as he was confronted by police officers.
Wakati tulifika kwa mlango tukapata ya kwamba kifuli kimewekwa nje na watoto wako ndani. Tuliweza kuwasiliana na watoto ambao walikuwa ndani, wakasema ya kwamba wamefungiwa nyororo, mmoja amefungiwa nyororo kwa mguu na mwingine amefungwa kamba. Tukabomoa mlango. Cha kushangaza sana tulipata ni ukweli, watoto walikuwa wamefungwa, mwingine amefungwa kwa nyororo, mwingine amefungwa kwa kamba. Mtu hawezi kuendelea kuacha watoto hawajaenda shule na amewaacha na majirani wakose kujua hii jambo ambayo inaendelea wa ripoti. Kwa sababu gani? Mtoto mwenye aliripoti ni mtoto mdogo, karibu wa grade 1.
Meanwhile, the children were moved to a nearby children's home as their father waits for the authorities' next action. David Alex, Lookuptv.
That shocking story by David Alex brings us to the end of the first segment of this particular bulletin. Don't go away, we'll be back with more news in a moment.
Why Malindi? Any idea why the A-list celebrities, politicians choose Malindi as a destination? Is it the sandy, spotless white beaches, the rhythmic, relaxing oceanic waves, or is it the great potential investment opportunity that Malindi has to offer? Dagmar learns we are here with a variety of projects from as low as 99,000 shillings. You get an eighth of an acre with ready title deeds. Book your plot today with only 35,000 shillings and get a free return air ticket. Be the next investor in Malindi with Dagmar loans. Call us now on 0740 888 111 or 0740 888 222. Dagmar loans. We promise, we deliver. Why wait? 20 Malindi.
We as Novena United Circle are a society that is able to provide a platform for business startups by providing financial aid to members and creating a platform to accumulate their savings. We look for small business entrepreneurs who are starting a business venture and provide the best opportunity to expand our business niche and turn it into something big. For more information, call us on 0768 757 956 or WhatsApp us on 0734 832 430. Novena United Circle. Tuungane pamoja.
Sensei Institute of Technology is the home to the best practical courses, giving you a hands-on experience to handle the world. A place to build your skill. For you to join us, ensure you have your national ID card and be ready to enjoy the ride. Sensei College, my skills, my future.
Hey darling, are we still on for a coffee date?
I'm waiting for you to come and pick me up.
I should be able to pick you in a few.
It's a coffee yogurt date?
It's not just a yogurt. It's royal coffee yogurt.
Flow with the sweet taste of thick and smooth Royal Fresh coffee yogurt. Royal Fresh, the royal taste of freshness.
Welcome back. On to matters health, and Kisumu health practitioners have called on expectant women to seek medical attention to ensure early detection and treatment of preeclampsia to reduce maternal deaths within the region. This comes after the rise in the number of cases that have been reported, with about 25% of expectant women who visit antenatal clinics in the area. The disease, which is common in teenage mothers and women aged 30 and above, according to the health records, has been reported to be among the leading causes of maternal deaths in the country.
Preeclampsia, which is one of the hypertensive diseases in pregnancy, can happen to any expectant woman after the 20th week or up to 6 weeks after delivery. The disease, which is prevalent in teenage mothers and women aged 30 years and above, according to health records, has become a nuisance for health practitioners who are still trying to work around the clock on how best to prevent the disease.
Is one of the leading causes of maternal mortality in Kenya. The situation in the country is that while we have targets that we have set as a country, we are still way below par in terms of achieving these targets of reducing preventable maternal mortality, which is really mothers dying while they are giving birth.
While marking World Preeclampsia Day in Kisumu County, the Kisumu Reproductive Health Coordinator Jane Owar noted that about a quarter of maternal deaths in the area is as a result of preeclampsia.
Preeclampsia is one of those conditions that are most effectively dealt with through prevention. So while there is treatment to reduce the incidences, I think prevention is the most important way to combat preeclampsia by encouraging women to go for antenatal visits.
About 25% of the women who present to our health facilities will have a pressure that is higher than normal. So if it's not managed, then it moves into eclampsia, and that is what causes problems.
The lack of capacity for proper diagnosis, especially at level 3 facilities, worsens the situation across the country. Most of the level 3 facilities lack magnesium sulfate, which is used to prevent seizures in women with preeclampsia.
Please visit the health facility before pregnancy. That way, you are able to be given iron, you are able to be given folate, and all this help build the mother so that when she becomes pregnant, then she's able to be healthy to carry a pregnancy.
One of the biggest issues is the lack of capacity to do effective diagnosis of preeclampsia in good time, so that women, girls or pregnant women are able to get the treatment they need. The other issue, of course, is the expertise in the lower level facilities. So if women are going to the dispensary and the health center, which is where the majority of them live, it means they might not be able to get the diagnosis they need in good time. So they have to be referred to another facility, which might actually be too late.
Women planning to get pregnant have been advised to visit a health facility early enough so as to prevent organ damage such as liver and kidney, as well as disability in children. Cecilia Lubanga, Lookuptv.
Thank you very much, Cecilia Lubanga. 16,000 people have died in road accidents so far this year. Among the fatalities include passengers, boda riders and pedestrians. Speaking to journalists in Naivasha area, the Director General of NTSA, that is George Njaru, has emphasized that they are implementing a new road monitoring system for public transport drivers that will improve road safety.
In a data report released by NTSA, pedestrians form the largest number of fatalities in road accidents, followed by boda operators. This report comes after a successful collaboration with 10 counties along major roads in road safety campaign.
As per these statistics, about 35% plus are the vulnerable road users. That is, when you talk about the pedestrians, they're contributing about 34%, another about 36% are pedestrians. So we talk about pedestrians contributing about 34%, then the motorcyclists together with their passengers contributing to another about 35-36%.
Despite the increase in new road signs and repairs, NTSA will be launching a new program that will help establish transport committees and address the increase in accidents involving boda drivers.
You have just left, but one of the things that we'll be demonstrating is part of the intelligent road safety management system that we're rolling out in the country, where we have now integrated with speed limit vendors to be able to now digitally track the PSV as a calming measure of speed across the board. So this is part of the measures that we're doing, and we are planning to at least finish the integration within the next couple of weeks to ensure that now we're able to actively monitor the speed of the PSV vehicles.
The proposals will be shared with the Council of Governors of the 10 counties to improve on road safety. Werimu Kimani, Lookuptv.
Beg your pardon, the exact number is 16,000. Moving forward, Canadian preacher Nelson Jason has been arraigned and charged at Milimani Low Courts for 60 million shillings land fraud case. The accused is alleged to have defrauded the complainant a piece of land in Kajiado County.
Documents.
Preacher Nelson Jason, who oversees a children's home within the country, has been charged with defrauding Jeremiah Muya and Rhoda Ann Baxter of their 6.15 acres of land in Kajiado. The defense lawyer, however, noted that the accused acquired a land in 2012 and has developed it extensively, making it a home to 85 vulnerable children.
The accused will stand to lose more by not attending court. Hence, in my view, he is not likely to fail to honor bail or bond terms.
Elsewhere, unrest has gripped Lugala village, Kakamega County, after a 1.5-year-old was found murdered and dumped in a neighbor's toilet after being allegedly sexually assaulted. Residents have been left in utter fear, many overwhelmed by the inhumane act.
Ni kisa ambacho tunaendelea kukemea katika mji wetu wa Kakamega County. Kakamega County tumekuwa na visa vingi vya unajisi vya watoto. Na siku ya leo nataka kukemea kisa hichi.
As the country continues with its effort to plant 15 billion trees by 2023, teachers from primary schools in Nanyuki town have crafted a model of integrating the CBC curriculum with national tree planting goal, where pupils are involved in planting trees and flowers in various institutions.
Tumekuja katika hii hospitali ya General kuhakikisha kwamba tumelinda mazingira kwa kulingana na jinsi ambavyo mtukufu rais anavyohimiza sisi sote tuwe wapanzi wa miti na pia kulinda mazingira yetu na pia kupanda maua.
Lydia Mweri, Lookuptv.
On to matters business, and Kenya's public transport e-mobility drive has received a boost after Basigo Limited launched a first-of-its-kind high-power fast-charging station for electric buses in Buruburu. The bus station, with a capacity to charge up to 6 buses simultaneously, is the first to be connected to Kenya's new e-mobility tariff approved by Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority in March this year. Juliet Chepkoech with more on this on the Business Roundup.
Speaking on the sidelines of the event, Basigo CEO stated that for every electric bus deployed and charged through their ecosystem, Kenya and especially Nairobi would replace the consumption of over 20,000 litres per year of diesel with clean renewable electricity produced here in Kenya.
This is the future of how our public transport is going to be powered. You are literally standing on the threshold of the future here in Kenya. And that is an exciting place to be. We will be deploying charging stations like this all across Nairobi. And the best part is, through our pay-as-you-drive financing model, the core innovation behind Basigo, our customers, our operators, they don't need to worry about the costs of this infrastructure. Basigo is handling that. They don't need to worry about the costs of charging. That is all included in our pay-as-you-drive subscription, making it easy for operators to actually adopt and use this technology on a daily basis.
According to the Kenya Power Lightning Company Managing Director Joseph Siror, the transport sector contributed to 67% of all emissions in the energy sector and 12% nationally, with chances of it rising to 17% in 2030, adding that the launch would help combat the trend in a conversation of clean energy.
And we really want to encourage all those who are in the public transport and even the financiers and all the others who can help in one way or the other. And I really want to appreciate Basigo by the model. I think you provided a very flexible model in dealing with the issues such as the one of pay-per-use. That is brilliant in itself. Yes, I think we all appreciate the fact that by moving into this particular technological space, we actually address a very big challenge that is experienced by many cities of the world, but it's actually because of pollution. I know in Kenya, we also had our own contribution, of course, contributed by diesel-powered engines and even petrol, where at times even when they don't service it, then it makes worse.
The launch comes at a time when Kenya had gone through a difficult dry period that saw different parts of the country experience prolonged drought as a result of increase in global warming. Finally, on Lookup Business Roundup, FX Pesa has opened its first financial education center in Uganda. The company takes its focus on providing quality and free financial education seminars and money management training regionally. The company notes that on the back of this launch, over 5,000 people in other locations in East Africa have benefited from